Do you watch them all back?
Yeah, I have started, and now Sam started editing them. I watched like Lottie's one the other day, and that was great. I loved watching that, knowing that I hadn't edited it. It was great.
Hello, Ellie!
Hi!
Hello. When did you SIYT?
So, I couldn't remember this. I joined in 2010, the end of the summer in 2010, as I was going into year 11, which seems like it's so long ago now. So yeah, 10 years ago.
So that's quite a late time to join, though, to be fair, isn't it?
I was talking about this to Lucy. I had always loved doing youth theatre and drama type things, and I'd done, from about year 5, there was a different one in St Ives that I'd done, and it was a Saturday morning. You did an hour of dance, an hour of singing, and an hour of acting. And then they kind of did similar to youth theatre, two plays a year. When I got to, you're in year 10, and that was very young based, so you could join in primary school and you sort of worked up. When I got to year 10, I was a bit like, I want to do something a bit that's more focused on acting, and that's maybe, a bit of an older demographic. It was something that really interested me, so I really to kind of like hone in my skills. So I did a bit of research and came across youth theatre, and then obviously went to the audition. Knew no one at all. This was another thing, because I'm not from St Ives. I know you guys aren't as well. I don't know if you found the same. I knew no one. So going to the audition, I was a bit like, and when you're at the age of kind of year 10, you do care a bit what people think, or you wonder what it's going to be like. I went to the audition, didn't know anyone, but still just knew that I really wanted to get into that something. And then obviously got the call that I was in, and then went to the first session and just had to be so brave. Like, I'm not usually that, actually I'm not shy, but I don't maybe like put myself massively out there. And I just remember, but luckily, I don't know what the normal people they take in each summer is, but they seem to have taken a lot of people that just by coincidence were my age that year. So like Lucy joined the same summer as me, Claire, Tevlin, Maddie.
There was also a time where you had a load of big characters as well, so it must have been an interesting time to sort of try and fit into that as well.
The shift, I noticed massively from when I joined to when I ended. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, a real shift, like you say, in the big characters. And also the layout of the sessions. I remember when I joined, there was a lot of improv where you just get everyone to sit in a massive circle, and Jono would just pick random people and you'd have to go and improv. And I remember I absolutely hated that. Because like I say, there were such big characters, like sort of at that age that was just a little bit above me, that would get involved in everything, that knew everyone, that were really confident and not shy. And I was just kind of, even though, like I said, I had that group of new people, they still all knew someone that was already a member. So it was quite daunting. And then I think what I definitely noticed as time went on throughout my journey at youth theatre, everyone, it more became moulded into one. There was big characters, but they sort of spread out.
Ellie, what was your favourite show?
My favourite show was, and I know you say that everyone's been saying this, but my favourite show was
Of course it was.
I liked everything that we did at youth theatre, but kind of similar to everyone else's answers, I loved EAM because I just feel like it sounds really corny, but I literally made friends for life in the time of that production, in the build-up, in the show week, in the trip. It was like my first proper. So I did Midsummer Night's Dream in the spring.
Yeah.
It was my first proper show week summer show, and it was just really fun. I really did enjoy it. Peter, me and you were the pairing.
Yeah. Roland and Emmett.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. I mean, I did die halfway through, so it wasn't like my
sad.
part was huge, but it felt really nice to get given a part that I could kind of explore, do the death scene, learn about sort of history of the play. I really enjoyed it.
How is that sort of for you as an actor doing a death scene?
I guess it was obviously quite hard in terms of the reason that my character was dying was because she taught the play. And then I had a solo as I was dying, which is even weirder to do because I remember in the practice and like the run up to the show, Jono and Brian were like, so you have to sing it, but you have to sing it like you're dying. So you can't go all out and you can't, show off your best performance because you're meant to be in pain and you're meant to be really weak. So I think that was quite tricky. But I really enjoyed it. Got me into a new role that I'd maybe not explored before, which was quite exciting. And definitely, like I was saying earlier, such a huge step up from the drama group I was doing before. That was very much kind of loved it at the time, but sort of like pantomime style plays. Yeah. So it was a big leap and something that you could really get stuck into.
Yeah, and then obviously it developed for you quite well because later on, as we spoke to Lucy, you appeared in Shakers. So from going from Midsummer to then Beam, and then obviously stuff in between, but Shakers, and it from a personal point of view, I think that was where the four of you really thrived.
I was talking to Lucy about this as well. It was such a contrast from my first proper show to my last proper show before going to uni, finishing youth theatre. And it was a small cast, which was really nice, all female, which again was really nice. We could really get deep into the characters, and because kind of the style of the play and the comedy aspects, you kind of could ad-lib a little bit. You obviously had your set scenes and Frankie directed it how she saw it being, but it was nice that we could play with the characters a bit and that we got to play all of the different roles that they do, which again I really enjoyed. It sort of pushed me out of my comfort zone. Having something that was just a four really meant the audience was looking at you and how you took on the part. And I remember actually I'd done Shakers for my year 12 drama exam, and it was almost doing it at youth theatre was like a step up. It was nice to explore it a bit more and to, like I said, kind of get into the characters and work with some people that I hadn't closely worked with before, and got to know them really well, which is always a bonus of building up to the shows and in all of the rehearsals.
That's such a good point because I mean you I know obviously you'd formed quite a good friendship with Lucy during EAM and stuff, but and I suppose Charlotte as well, perhaps to an extent, but like like Nana and I mean even Charlotte you probably weren't really close with at the time as either. So I suppose it was a really it brings people together that maybe wouldn't have been super kind of friendly beforehand, kind of
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely think that your friends, you are always friends with everyone at youth theatre, and everyone is so friendly. You can go and have a chat to anyone, but there's definitely people that you form closer friendships with, and getting put with people that potentially you might not have sat and had a long chat with is a really nice way to just introduce you to new people. I know you guys probably know the Sunday sessions where you do the really long rehearsal days, and it's actually just so nice to spend time with these other people. You're doing something you all love and enjoy. You share the passion and you want to put on a really good show, if you're at youth theatre for a long period of time, you're going to have plays where you have a bit of a bigger role, and then somewhere you might literally be on for one scene. But the beauty of it, and that everyone's such a close-knit family, is that during the time that you're not needed, you're just hanging out with your friends. Like, it's really nice. And yeah, I remember, I've got fond memories at Broadleys.
Let's go into that. What, like, because a lot of people's favourite moments tend to be these really specific moments, as well as the sort of the journeys that they're taken. So tell us about your favourite moments, Ellie.
So I would say, as a whole, favourite moment, definitely Edinburgh. That was a highlight. It happened at, just sort of fell into a really nice time that it was as a sort of finisher of my journey of youth theatre. I was going to uni. I could spend like a week with my friends. To this day, which is quite 6-7 years later, that I will always say that was one of the best weeks of my life, which sounds really cheesy, but
that's great.
It was true. Again, keep saying it, but you're with your best friends doing something that you love. Because we were obviously a bit older, we had a bit more freedom, and I just remember, like, every night, obviously we'd go and do all the flyering, do the shows, which is amazing, get to go see all this incredible stuff, and I'd never been to the Fringe before, so that in itself was a really exciting experience. And then I just remember in the evenings just crying with laughter every night. I guess you kind of had to be there for this point, but I find it so funny. When we were, so there was me and Maddie in a room, and then Finn and Lucy in the room next door, and we obviously used to all go into each other's rooms. And one time, like, it just sounds really stupid now, but Lucy got stuck under the bed. I don't know how it happened. She got stuck, and then it was quite late at night, and we did have to be up in the morning, and we were, let's just say Trish was not the most happy with us. And you know how when she gets like scary Trish, full on scary mode, and she came in and she was telling us off, me and Maddie, we had to get back to our own room, like we needed to be quiet. And Lucy was just stuck under the bed and she couldn't get out. Maybe not so much at the time, but looking back, I really enjoyed the custard pie fight that we had on the big green. That was really fun. And there's a really funny picture of me, Finn and Lucy. Lucy is smashing a pie into Finn's face, and I'm sort of in the background looking like I'm about to cry because I've got it all over me.
I suppose you've touched on this quite a bit throughout. But how different is a youth theatre friendship to any other friendship?
I would say it makes for a solid friendship because you've immediately got something in common. You've immediately kind of got that common ground. And what something that I really loved was that I didn't go to school with these people. So it felt really nice to have a bit of a like separation, you know, when you're doing your GCSEs, you can come on a Thursday night and then most likely a weekend and meet with these people. And you know, sometimes when you're with the same people that you do similar stuff to, as in you go to school with, all we really discuss is school. Or that's what it essentially was like. Whereas you're coming out to this new group of people and you don't, because you both don't know about your Monday to Friday sort of life, you're not stuck in talking about that. You can talk about other things you enjoy and like fond memories or have a laugh on the rehearsal or what you've got to do. And it's really, like, genuinely, I've made some of my like best friends for life from youth theatre. And I was going to say this again, it sounds so cheesy, but it's genuinely true. It's really like youth theatre in itself has shaped some of my actual life decisions, which sounds stupid, but I don't think I would have joined a new sixth form if I hadn't gone to youth theatre, because it pushed me out of my comfort zone initially joining, which then made me think, oh, I can do this, which then meant I wouldn't have again met some of my best friends. It made me like, you know, some of those friends are things. When I met Maddie at youth theatre, who is literally now like my sister. We went travelling around the world together. There's just small things that I take credit for from youth theatre. There's just loads of things. It was nice that from something that just happened on the one night a week, it grew into all of these experiences that, you know, then we all hung out outside of it, which was really nice.
Well, I think, yeah, that became a massive thing for us, to invite each other to parties and whatnot. And we don't have specific youth theatre parties as well. And I think I remember one where there's a cracking photo of Peter in the middle as well.
That's...
Peter the ladies' man.
Yeah. Honestly, I actually remember there's another picture of me. Actually, Ellie, I think it's me, Lucy, Maddie, and maybe Emily Byrne.
Yeah.
In another picture, and like they're all around me. And I remember I got so much stick for weeks at school after that picture because I didn't go to the same school as I went to the same school as Ed Jones and Byron, who were still in youth theatre at that point, but like no one else was in youth theatre, and no one in my year, and so they were just like, where are these people you're meeting? Like, who are these girls?
You also had big news in Edinburgh as well, didn't you?
So when we got our results, this is why Edinburgh as well was such a big week. We got our A-level results. So I remember I couldn't sleep the night before. I was actually so stressed. Oh my God, and you know a really funny thing? The day before we were getting our results in the morning, we went to see a show. I can't remember if you guys came. And it was like a fortune teller magical show. And he was like, in one of the really grand buildings. I don't know why we went to see it. And he was like, oh, does anyone have any big news coming up? Anything that they want me to predict? And in my head I was thinking, oh God, maybe I should ask him if I'm going to get into uni. Yeah. But then I don't want to know the answer. So I did. So obviously it was very much on my mind. Couldn't really sleep. Went down early in the morning, and I think everyone else had gone for breakfast. Went down, Lucy running towards me, screaming that she'd got in. And obviously I was really happy, but again, scared. And this as well is something that I find really used to happen in my life. I'd never pass things first time. Don't know if that's maybe meant to teach me a lesson that I'm yet to learn, but I never get it right first time. And I opened the results, and I'd worked like so hard for my A-levels. I just was so upset. I don't think initially when you read it on the screen, you don't really think of the options, or you just initially see I failed, which is actually so stupid, because my second choice would have been like such a great uni. So I kind of had a bit of a mini panic. Was calmed down by everyone around me. It was actually a really nice place to be around all my friends. And then the University of Sheffield. So I'd applied for Leeds, didn't get in. University of Sheffield sent out an email. They were one of my 5 choices, saying that they had quite a lot of clearing spaces. So I was sort of on the phone in my room in Edinburgh trying to sort all of that out. And I ended up going to the University of Sheffield to do English. And, you know, one of the best things I've ever done.
So, Ellie, what are you doing now?
Went travelling with Maddie, which was really fun. Again, one of the best things I've ever done. And then came back and was a bit like, right, I need to actually decide what I want to do. So, yeah, interviewed at a few places. And again, I never get the first thing. So I interviewed at a few places for like a position in PR before interviewing at my current company. And then got the job. And yeah, I love it.
I think that's a really good little story to kind of to pass down to the you know, there's kids at the moment who are obviously be thinking about university or thinking about what they're going to do because university is a bit, you know, up in the air at the moment or whatever, and you know there'll be generations that watch this afterwards as well. So it's, I think, to show that actually what you think at the beginning might be like a setback or something that, you know, you can turn it into a positive. I think it's very easy when you know, when we do these interviews for potentially people to watch it and go, I've not got my, you know, these guys have all like got their lives sorted, and it's like no, like all these people like they were in the same boat as you at one point as well. They, you know, they were waiting for their exam results and they weren't sure how they were going to do, and then maybe they didn't do as well as they thought they were. You know, we've all experienced it too, but we get, you know, you get past it, don't you, in one way or another.
Do you have any advice for our current members?
So, my general life advice would be everything happens for a reason, because I do truly believe that. And then general youth theatre advice would just be to get stuck in with as much as possible. I think regardless, even if, for example, you're going on holiday, so you might not be able to take part in one of the shows, or there's something else that's on, you can still get stuck in until, you know, you're physically not there. You can help with costume, backstage, you know, even just sit backstage and chat to everyone while they're not rehearsing their scenes. I think that's something that I would definitely recommend. Get stuck into everything. We've all made good friends for life from youth theatre. It's very nice, and it's so nice to like talk about the memories.
That's the thing. I feel as if it's less for the current members now, and it's more for us.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, is that a bad thing? Well,
I think we're opening up really, and I think they're probably going to experience the same sort of things, and they'll experience all these big friendships as well.
So much, Ellie.
Thank you, Ellie, for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.